Deep in a hidden corner of the kingdom, where the maps ended and the clouds seemed to whisper secrets, lay the Enchanted Valley of Lumara. Towering flowers bloomed as tall as houses, their petals shimmering with every color of the rainbow. Glowing rivers wound through the woods like liquid starlight, and ancient trees stretched so high their leaves brushed the sky. Fireflies danced in spirals even during the day, and soft moss glowed gently underfoot. It was a place of pure magic. In this valley lived Galen, a gentle giant. He stood taller than the biggest oak tree, with broad shoulders, kind brown eyes, and a bushy beard that often caught stray butterflies. His hands were as large as wagons, yet he moved with surprising care. Galen spent his quiet days tending the giant flowers, singing lullabies to the glowing river fish, and carving beautiful wooden animals for the squirrels. But outside the valley, the people of the kingdom feared him. Old legends spoke of a terrible giant who crushed villages and stole treasure. "Stay away from the hidden valley," parents warned their children. "The giant will gobble you up." No one knew the truth, that Galen secretly helped them. When a fierce flood threatened the river villages, Galen quietly moved boulders to create new channels, saving homes without anyone seeing. During howling storms, he sheltered lost travelers under his enormous cloak and guided them home. He did these things because his heart was as big as his body. One sunny afternoon, a curious 10-year-old girl named Mila wandered closer to the valley than any child dared. Mila had wild curly hair the color of chestnuts, bright green eyes full of wonder, and a spirit as adventurous as a shooting star. She carried a small satchel filled with cookies, a notebook, and her favorite red scarf. "I want to see the glowing rivers for myself," she whispered bravely, stepping past the warning signs. As she pushed through a curtain of sparkling vines, she tripped over a giant root and tumbled into a bed of soft, glowing moss. When she looked up, an enormous face peered down at her with gentle surprise. "Hello there, little one," Galen rumbled softly, his voice like warm thunder. He knelt carefully, trying not to shake the ground too much. "Are you hurt?" Mila's heart raced, but she lifted her chin. "I'm Mila. Are you, the scary giant?" Galen's shoulders drooped. A sad smile crossed his face. "Many call me that. But I prefer Galen. Would you like a cookie? I baked them with honey from the giant flowers." He offered one the size of a dinner plate, broken into a smaller piece. Mila hesitated, then took a bite. It was the most delicious cookie she had ever tasted, sweet, warm, and buttery. She giggled. "You don't seem scary at all. Why do you hide?" Galen sighed, sitting down so gently that only a few leaves fluttered. "People fear what they don't understand. I help when I can, but from afar. It's safer that way." A butterfly landed on his finger, and he chuckled as it tickled his nose. The sound made Mila laugh too. From that day on, a wonderful friendship bloomed. Mila visited often, bringing stories from the kingdom and tiny gifts. Galen showed her secret wonders, flowers that sang soft melodies when touched, rivers where fish told jokes by blowing bubbles, and a hidden cave filled with glowing crystals. They had adventures together. Once, they rescued a baby phoenix whose wing was caught in vines. Galen lifted the heavy branches while Mila sang encouraging songs. The phoenix's grateful flames lit up the sky in celebration. One evening, as they watched the glowing river sparkle, Galen shared his deepest feelings. "Sometimes I wish I could join the village festivals," he said quietly. "But they would run away screaming." Mila took his massive finger in both her small hands. "Then we'll show them who you really are, one day." That day came sooner than expected. A powerful magical storm brewed over the kingdom, the storm of shadows. Dark clouds swirled with purple lightning and howling winds. It was no ordinary storm. Whispering shadows inside it could turn solid objects into mist and make bridges disappear. The king sent messengers everywhere. "The giant must save us. Only he is big enough." People gathered in the main square of Willowbrook, the largest village. They looked toward the distant valley with nervous hope. "Galen will fix everything," they murmured. "He has to." Mila ran to the valley as fast as her legs could carry her. "Galen, the storm of shadows is coming. Everyone expects you to save them alone." Galen stood tall, his face serious but calm. This time, little friend, I will not face it alone. And neither will they. He offered Mila his open palm. She climbed on, and together they walked toward the kingdom. When the villagers saw the giant approaching, panic spread. Children hid behind their parents. Some grabbed pitchforks. But Mila stood bravely on Galen's shoulder, waving her red scarf like a flag. Wait. Don't be afraid. Galen is our friend. He's helped us many times without us knowing. The crowd fell silent as Galen knelt low. I can move mountains and hold back winds, he said gently, but true strength isn't about size. Courage means facing your fear even when your knees shake. Kindness means helping others even when it's hard. Today, we will face this storm together. At first, the adults hesitated. But the children, led by Mila, stepped forward. What should we do? Asked a boy named Finn. Galen smiled warmly. We prepare as one big team. The strongest hearts choose courage and kindness, even when afraid. What followed was the most wonderful and chaotic adventure the kingdom had ever seen. Galen taught them his plan. The adults and older children gathered strong ropes made from giant flower vines that Mila and Galen had brought. They tied houses and trees together in a giant web so nothing would blow away. The younger children, with Mila directing, collected glowing river stones that shone like lanterns. These special stones could push back shadows when placed in patterns. Humor lightened the tense moments. When Galen tried to tie a rope around a tall tower, his big fingers kept fumbling. I'm better at lifting than not tying, he laughed. Mila and her friends climbed up to help, turning it into a silly game. Left hand over right, they shouted. Even the nervous adults began chuckling. As the storm of shadows roared closer, purple lightning cracked across the sky and shadowy tendrils reached toward the village. Winds howled like angry wolves. Some villagers trembled, but Mila called out, "Remember what Galen said. We're in this together." Galen stood at the front, using his great body as a shield against the strongest winds. But he didn't do everything. The villagers worked bravely beside him. Farmers used pitchforks to plant glowing stones in the fields, creating a shining barrier that made shadows hiss and retreat. Children ran with baskets, placing smaller stones around homes while singing songs to keep their spirits high. Mila dashed everywhere, encouraging everyone and helping wherever she was needed. One terrifying moment came when a huge shadowy tendril snatched the village bridge. "It's going to fall," cried the people. Galen reached out, but he called to the others, "Together." Mila, Finn, and a dozen children grabbed the giant flower vine ropes. With Galen anchoring one end, they pulled with all their might while the adults pushed from the other side. "Heave ho," they shouted. Laughter mixed with effort as someone slipped in the mud and came up grinning. Slowly, the bridge held. The glowing stones flared bright, and the shadow tendril dissolved with a grumpy hiss. Hour after hour, the villagers and Galen worked side by side. When the winds grew too strong for the little ones, Galen sheltered them under his cloak, telling funny stories about clumsy squirrels to keep them calm. When Galen's arms grew tired from holding back a massive fallen tree, the adults brought him cool water and cheered him on. Kindness flowed in every direction. Finally, as the first light of dawn pierced the clouds, the storm of shadows gave one last angry rumble and drifted away, defeated by the light of courage and the warmth of teamwork. Cheers erupted across Willowbrook. The villagers lifted Mila onto their shoulders, then turned to Galen. Instead of fear, their eyes shone with gratitude and friendship. "You saved us," they cried. "No," Galen said humbly, his voice thick with emotion. "We saved each other." From that day forward, Galen was no longer hidden. He visited the village often, helping build stronger bridges and planting giant flowers that brought magic and beauty to the kingdom. Mila became known as the brave heart of Lumara, and she and Galen continued having many adventures together. At the grand celebration that evening, lanterns glowed brighter than ever. Galen sat carefully among the villagers, laughing as children climbed his arms like a living playground. He looked at Mila, who was proudly wearing a crown of glowing petals. "The strongest hearts," he said softly, "are those that choose courage and kindness even when they are afraid." Mila smiled and hugged his finger. "And the best adventures happen when we face them together." And so, in the kingdom where enchanted forests met glowing rivers and giant flowers bloomed under sunny skies, courage and kindness grew stronger than any storm. The people never forgot the gentle giant who taught them that true strength lives in every heart, big or small, that dares to care.